What's up, Rufus Nation? I'm sorry if the mic quality on this video isn't the best. I am still figuring it out. This sounds so fake, but I just recorded by a mile the best rant I have ever recorded. And I had the thought in the middle of it, oh my gosh, wouldn't it suck if I wasn't recording? Or, you know, my mic was off. And I was going to check my mic in the middle of it, but I was like, oh no, I'm so in the zone right now. I don't want to. It was like nothing I've ever done before. I was just free flowing. I was saying profound things. I didn't even know where they were coming from. You know, I was on. It's just, that is tough, man. I could not think of a worse time for me to realize that my mic's not working. But we will do it again because clearly, I'm going to set this down. Clearly the show had an impact on me. So, Bojack Horseman. I watched it for the request of one of my $5 a month plus patrons. I'm very sorry for all that clanging in the background. God, my first take was godly, guys. You can't. But watch the first season of BoJack Horseman and talk about the foundation of the show. The foundation that the show makes for the character. I didn't slip up on that in my first take. Makes for the characters as well as where you think their character arcs are heading. So guys, make sure when you're doing these rant requests, let's have proper grammar, okay? Just wanted to point that out. Nah, I'm just messing with you. I'm just kidding. Just Rufusing around. So, as is clear, I watched the first season of BoJack Horseman. I binged it in about a day. It wasn't like a true day, but I watched a couple episodes and then within a 24-hour period, I watched like the last 9, I think, something along those lines. It was very short, pretty short. It was like anime length episodes, so 20 to 25 minutes, and there were 11 of them. It's a Netflix original series. You know, something that's been up my alley for a long time that a lot of people I know have been fans of for a very long time, but I've just never gotten around to it, which is not entirely true. I have the haziest memory of my life, like the haziest memory I can possibly grasp at, of just binge watching the first 2 seasons of BoJack Horseman on my bed when I was like 12. I remember like just a couple scenes. I remember Vincent Adultman. I remember some stuff with Mr. Peanut Butter. I remember some stuff that's probably technically spoilers involving BoJack and the deer. I remember, you know, just little sparse details here and there. I remember an episode that was like entirely underwater. I remember when they had to when they were doing like a facial profile on him so that they could finish the shooting of Secretariat. And yeah, those are just the random details that I remembered. But watching it again, it's very clear that this is a show that is very character driven. It's not necessarily about the narrative, which in a lot of ways works to its benefit. It is very much about these characters. The main drawing point is the unique character that is BoJack Horseman, because he has no redeeming qualities. I say this very lightly, he's kind of smart, and he's kind of funny sometimes, but he's really hit or miss. Other than that, he is incredibly inconsiderate, irresponsible. He's an addict, you know, alcohol and drugs. You can't really hold that against, I mean, you can. That's complicated. I'm not going to get into that, but he's an alcoholic. He's slowly, he's depressed. I was able to pull out so many amazing adjectives at first. This is driving me crazy, guy. You were watching me go crazy live. I cannot believe how good the first take was. And it's gone forever now. Lost, filed into the annals of void. See? What did I even just say? In my first take, that would have been like Shakespearean, but, you know, nevertheless, back to BoJack. He's everything bad. He's inconsiderate. He's rude. He has a roommate who he just keeps around to shit on so that he can feel better about himself. And yeah, that's who he is. And time after time, he just continually proves it. He's not a good person. He doesn't consider the feelings of others. He really doesn't care, and he only cares once they start to stop paying attention to him. It is incredibly transparent, and there's this sort of will they, won't they, as weird as that sounds, approach to his characterization, in the sense that it's like, oh, he's gonna get a little better, and then it's like, oh, is he gonna get better? Is he gonna get? No, he doesn't care. He was doing some crazy prank on Todd the whole time. It's like, oh, is he gonna be? Is he actually making a change? It's like, no, he was just doing it to save face, all that stuff, because he is a reasonably self-aware guy. But the messed up thing, I think most people just want to see him get better. I find him very human and very relatable. But he's not a good person. Like, it's very cut and dry. It's clear. And the only reason I could think that people would be so invested in thinking of this guy as a good person is because they want to know if it's too late for them. We're all on this, like, depressing, slow but inevitable trudge towards death. And Bojack is just pretty far along it, and he's just looking at it, he's stressing over it, and he's just thinking, am I ever going to change as a person? Am I ever going to be more than this? I'm not satisfied. And the answer is no, because it's just sort of fundamentally who he is at this point. In my opinion, at least, that is very, very, very clear. The decisions he makes, he doesn't care. I could never believe that he cares about anybody. Just based on like what he did to Todd, and then the Herb thing was understood. It's just the point is he's terrible. Other than him, though, the main cast are the other stars of the show, of course. As I said, it's not particularly narratively driven. It sort of has the advantage being one of those Western adult animated animated cartoons, animated sitcoms, where this one was a Netflix original. It didn't like preview on a premiere on Adult Swim, so it's not totally episodic like Family Guy, for example, or anything like that. But it is funny, and I hear it gets more serious later. But at least season 1 is fairly like you can jump in at any point and enjoy it. Even though if you want to get the most enjoyment out of it, you do have to know you have to have seen all of the prior episodes and understand the context leading up to this point. But so far, it has had that sort of like double appeal, and I think it aired on Adult Swim briefly. That's when I first heard about it, or maybe not so briefly, but so I'm sure it had success over there because of that fact. But the rest of the characters, by the way, when we're on the topic of things that are funny, the funniest thing in this show by far is that it takes place in a society that's like. I'm going to do a mic check right now because I'm going to go crazy. Okay, cool. It takes place in a society that is like 70% human and 30% animal. Just random animals. You got different kinds of birds. Of course, you got horses. You got different kinds of dogs. Of course, you have a cat in the main cast. You have a seal. You have a whale. You have a cow waitress. It's like, here's your steak. And then he's like, oh, I'm sorry. You have turtles, penguins. You got the works. All kinds of animals, and there's a lot of silly jokes about them and how little sense it makes for them to just be there in a society. One of my favorites was these two, like, mom dogs were in line at the grocery store, and they were like, one of them was like, oh my gosh, I want to get chocolate so bad, but it could literally kill me. And the other one's like, story of my life. And it's like, that's so true because they're dogs. Like, they can't eat, it would literally kill them. I'm making it sound like I didn't think it was funny. I thought, that made me lol. That made me laugh out loud. And a lot of jokes in this series landed pretty well with me. Most of the ones that didn't were just the Mr. Peanut Butter stuff, so I guess I'll get to him next in terms of going over this like character by character across the main cast. He's the only one that I don't necessarily have that much good to say about, so I just get him out of the way. Mr. Peanut Butter is he definitely has a narrative purpose, which in many ways is to help develop the characterization and development of both Diane and Bojack. He is Bojack's foil. He's everything that Bojack isn't. He's stupid. He has no self-awareness. Those are the only bad things, but he's incredibly generous. He's caring. He's happy. He's optimistic. He's romantically prosperous. He's super supportive. He could be a bit braggadocious, like he likes to let you know about his accolades. But overall, he's just a really excited guy with some. He's got some funny quirks, like he can't stand the mailman because he's a dog, and it's another one of those jokes. But overall, Mr. Peanut Butter is the lesser dumb guy because Todd is probably my favorite character, and he is the cooler dumb guy. Not that I have anything against Mr. Peanut Butter. He's just not personally my favorite character in the sense that we're examining it now in a vacuum. But Todd is. Todd is a like lazy freeloader who just kind of wandered into Bojack's house. I think he like slept there overnight at a party or something, and Bojack never kicked him out because Bojack is unfathomably lonely, even though he won't admit it. And Bojack sort of keeps him around as this cruel, pathetic punching bag, so that he can feel better about himself. Because Todd is one of the only people in this universe that he can feel he's punching down to. That will validate him, that he can feel like he's better than somebody, because Todd is just at the ground floor. Todd's not even trying to like, Todd is just, he's just Todd, and he has a lot of merits. He's got a lot of funny moments. He's a very free thinker wouldn't be the right word, but he's a very free spirit, and that leads to a lot of funny interactions. But he is incredibly dumb, and yeah, basically, even he turns to, rightfully so, morally high road Bojack by the end of the series, or by the end of the season, like midway through, which I'd imagine is pretty crushing to Bojack's ego. And then, of course, he's trying to save face, pretend like he actually ever did care about Todd when he clearly doesn't. But Todd's great. He's pretty funny, and I definitely like him. Next up is Princess Carolyn, and I don't mind this character at all, but it is the least relatable character archetype to me. Like, the girl boss workaholic, that's just not me. That's not me in any respect. She's like super hardworking, devoted to her career as an agent. She's Bojack's agent and Todd's agent, and she likes to think that she can strike a very good balance between work and personal life, but it's very obvious that she can't. She gets most of her value from work. I'm not sure why. Maybe that'll be revealed later. For whatever reason, she is sort of emotionally shelled up in that sense. And her romantic life consists of Bojack Horseman, who is a total oaf, who has no right to be with her. I don't know why she would even be romantically considering him or what she sees in him, but that's just the way the news goes. So she's kind of on again, off again with him, even though he very clearly doesn't care about her, not only as a romantic partner, but as a person, as was made incredibly clear by the first scene of the show. Yet she kind of pursues him anyway. It's almost like, both with her liking Bojack, and Diane, of course, being in a relationship with Mr. Peanut Butter is almost kind of a similar dynamic, in the sense that they're both, and this might not be the most charitable interpretation of Mr. Peanut Butter and Diane's relationship, but they're with oafs, to kind of non-threatening oafs, to just try to check off that box of being romantically occupied, because for whatever reason that's not an area that they feel comfortable exploring at this point. They want to focus on their career, stuff like that. But that's Princess Carolyn. The last character is Diane. I really want to reiterate, guys, I'm like really sad that my first take got deleted. That was the best thing I think I've ever done. I can't believe that. Like, I'm in shock right now. But we'll talk about Diane. So Diane is the final of the main 5 characters, I guess is what I would define it as. And she is the voice of reason in some respects. She is one of the only human characters among the main cast, so it makes sense that she is the most human and relatable. But like I said, she has a similar thing going on to Princess Carolyn. She, very much like Bojack, has a very strong desire and need for attention. But with her, it's like she's got more life ahead of her to change. But more than that, she's just generally more considerate, probably more intelligent, clear-minded, romantically prosperous, like I said, mentally stable, all those things, pretty much everything. She is a little bit better than Bojack at, so she's like the more hopeful one because she's not a bad person, but there are certainly some Bojack like tendencies that I would like to see hopefully resolved later on in the show with her. But you know, with Bojack, it's always just gonna return to that same like bleak core. I never see him getting better. I don't see how anybody could. You know, he's just he's gonna pretend like he is, but he's the same person. He's like set in stone for whatever reason, and I don't see Diane as that way. She said something good, which is why I don't like saying this. Why it's a bit ironic to say this, but at the end she mentions that there is no like deep down, like are you good, are you bad deep down. She thinks it's just a reflection of the actions that you take, and I think that's very true. It's just Bojack is never gonna change the actions that he takes. It is like flagrantly clear. But yes, that is Diane. Diane, very intelligent. She's writing Bojack's memoir. She has an interest in other people. She's fairly socially awkward, like kinda socially awkward. But you know, at the end of the day, she wants simple things. And oh my gosh, I'm not gonna get a better take than this second one, but I am like fuming right now. I literally thought in the middle, like, oh my god, it would just be the worst thing ever if somehow this take didn't go through, and then it didn't go through. But hey, that's just the way the news goes. Subscribe for more awesome content. Hopefully it'll be the first take next time, because that one was like 10 times better. But I hope this sufficed my loyal patrons. If you guys want a video from me, pay me $5 a month. I will make you a video. I swear. Just make sure to spell everything right. Just kidding. Rufus out.